Hey, it's Hyacinth Henderson, and I am back with another video on my channel, Awakened Abundance. We talk metaphysics, mindset, and money. Today's video is going to be a follow-up to the previous video that I released on Valentine's Day. And at the end of that video, I started talking about how I see frequencies and energies and vibration. And I wanted to make a quick video to share with you because I believe that for some of you who are new to this concept and are just journeying into understanding energy, frequency, and vibration, a visual may help you. So on Saturday, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about just life and growth. He was actually celebrating his birthday, and we were talking about growth and all these things. And he asked me a question. He said, Hyacinth, what about, those people who are behind? Do you pull them along? Do you leave them behind? What do you do? And I said to him, you do your thing so that they can find you. And at first he was kind of like a little bit confused, and I said, you know what, let me explain it in this way. So imagine that you are in a school. You are in a school. All of us, some of us, most of us, I don't want to say all because I don't want to generalize, but most of us went to school where there were several classrooms and several doors in the school. So when I think of school, I'm thinking of my high school, and my high school was actually 2 stories high, and they had an east wing, a west wing, we had Central Plaza. It was a pretty large school. Within that school, there were at least 100 classrooms. I hope I'm not overestimating, but that's what it seems like to me. At any moment, you could walk into a classroom and see a different teacher, a different set of students, and they would be talking about different subjects. So if I wanted to walk into classroom A on the east wing, I may walk into science taught by Mr. Science Teacher with all the science kids who love biology and chemistry. If I wanted to walk in classroom B, I may walk into the PE room with the PE coach where they are talking about nutrition and the benefits of weightlifting and all these other things. So I hope that you have the visual that I'm painting when it comes to the different rooms available to you within one school. Now let's zoom out a little bit. The school that I am talking about is planet Earth. We are all humans having this physical experience, and so we're humans this time around. Who knows what we were last time around, but this time we're humans. On planet Earth, you get to choose the frequency that you want to vibrate at. You get to choose. You get to choose which classroom you open and which classroom you close. Which door you open, which classroom you open, and you say, I want to go in there and sit down. Or you know what, I'm opening the door in here. I see y'all dissecting frogs. I gotta go. I don't have the stomach for that. I gotta go. Let's tie this back into the conversation that I was having with a friend of mine. He is a very kind and passionate and want to help everybody type of guy, right? And I said to him, he was kind of concerned because I was like, you got to leave them behind. You got to do your thing. And so I said to him, I said, if I have a choice to choose the classroom that I want to go in, it is not my duty. It is not my responsibility. It is not a great use of my energy or time to go into somebody's classroom, open the door, see them dissecting a frog and say, oh my gosh, animals are not used for experiments. You are not supposed to be dissecting a frog. There are other ways to come to this conclusion. Stop it, to go and it is not my job to do that. These people who are in this classroom have likely done a lot of research before they got to the point to dissect. They've studied, they take tests, they've done all these things. And who am I to go in their classroom and say, you're not supposed to be dissecting. This is wrong. This is not how you do it. I have the choice to say, oh, let me open this door. I was curious. I opened the door and I see y'all in here cutting up frogs. Ooh, that's my cue. Gotta go. How does this relate to your frequency? When you see people, and he goes back to his question, how do you do you pull them up? Do you help them along? No. You don't get to go in somebody else's life, AKA their classroom, and open the door and say, listen, I know you broke, busted, and disgusted. I know you keep being in these situations and you always asking me for money. I know that everything you touch turns and nothing is working out for you. I know that, but you are doing it wrong. And since you're doing it wrong, I'm going to tell you how to do it. And my way is the right way to do it. They're going to resist you every single time. And oftentimes what happens is because people come to us wanting our help, we falsely mistake that for them wanting our guidance. I hope that makes sense. Let me say it a different way. Sometimes when people come to us seeking a solution to their problem, we mistake that for them wanting to be taught how to solve the problem themselves. Most people don't want to be taught how to solve the problem themselves. Most people want the solution and they don't want the system. They don't want to have to figure out and how to learn how you got here from here to here and yield this result. They just want the result from you. That's why I don't be giving out solutions. I'm going to take you step by step. Let me say that again. Most people, when they come to you, if they're in that classroom, when they come to you, they just want you to fix it. They don't want to hear about nothing else. They don't want to hear a lecture. If somebody's asking you for money, since I'm the money lady, if they're asking you for money and they call you and they're like, listen, I'm behind on my rent, my car is about to be repossessed, whatever the case may be, whatever sad sob story they have, and you sit down and you say, okay, why don't you come over here? I have this great budgeting system that works. Let me show you how to budget your money. You're working, or you don't have a job. I have 3 job options for you. I know the manager here. And they say, I hear what you're saying, but right now I need to pay this bill. I don't really have time for that. Could you cash at me? I don't have time for that. Could you just send it to me? They are looking for the solution and not the steps. What this means is you have a decision to make to say, am I going to provide the solution to you with the understanding that you're going to be back? And you're going to be back because you're still stuck in a... Okay, so my memory card ran out of space, so the camera cut off in the middle of that recording. So it's going to take a minute for the energy to get back up, but we're going to get it back. As I was saying, I was sharing about how you can see classrooms as different frequencies that you either get to choose to ride the wave of or not. I believe I was giving the example about someone coming to you for money or coming to you for solutions, and you sitting down trying to give them the steps, and they like, I don't want to hear all that. Can you help me with this right now? And sometimes people may even make comments such as, oh, well, you can teach me later, or I'll come back later, and they never do after you give them the solution. That's because they're fine in that classroom that they're at. AKA they're fine at vibrating at that frequency that is yielding them those results. So what can you do to be able to change your life? You can intentionally choose the frequencies that you want to vibrate at. Y'all have heard me say more than one time, I don't tussle, I don't argue, I don't go back and forth. That is because when I do that, I understand that if I am arguing with somebody, they are in a different classroom. Meaning they're on a different frequency. So why on earth would I be in my classroom, get the visual, and they're in their classroom, and there is a thick wall in between us. There are doors, the doors are closed, but I'm hollering through the wall. And I'm trying to prove my point, and I'm flipping tables and this, and they're in a completely different classroom, meaning they're in a completely different frequency. And oftentimes we spend our time going hoarse, getting upset, giving ourselves stress because we are trying to get someone to see things by the way that we see them. They're in a different classroom, baby. They're on another frequency. So you get to choose. You get to say, oh, how does it look in here? I remember during the height of the pandemic, I don't know what they say we in now, but it's 2023. But during that time when we couldn't go out to eat, I was craving one of these restaurants. And so when things opened back up, I took my children and I said, okay, let's get up and let's go. And I remember I had traveled and I got back in town and I was like, I want to go to this restaurant. It's fine dining, 5-star, need a reservation, that type of stuff. And I would usually go without them. But I was like, let me take y'all. We all been locked up in the house. We went in there and my daughter, and this was years ago, she said, I don't like the energy in here. Mind you, we're gonna pay a grip for this meal. A grip, I'm from Miami. A grip means it wasn't a $2 steak. But she was like, I don't like the energy in here. And she was not wrong. She was pretty accurate about the energy that was going on, the frequency of the folks that were in there at that time. So it didn't matter that we were at a fine establishment. The energy was off and she was like, I don't like it. And I felt it too. So we had our meal, then we went to Krispy Kreme, and then we skedaddled. So Well, I gave you that example because I want you all to understand and recognize that a frequency can shift, like energy can shift. Meaning, I used to go to that restaurant before. I had gone several times before and it was great. However, something changed in that classroom. Maybe it was them getting back into the groove of things after being on lockdown. Whatever it was, something changed in that classroom. And when we showed up, she immediately realized that the energy was off. She did not like the frequency, and she has not been back there since. I want you to do the same thing when it comes to making decisions in your life. In the previous video, I shared with you a secret that I share with my clients and my mentees. And that secret is you must decide and stick to the script of the life that you want to create. It does not have to make sense to anybody else. You have listened to other people long enough. You have played by their rules. You have done everything that they asked you to do, and it has gotten you up until this point. If you want something different, if you know that you can go higher, if you are watching this video, it is because you know that there is more available to you. Let this be your reminder that you're going to have to open and close doors. Open and close doors. Peek in? Nope, gotta go. Peek in? Maybe you open the door, you peek in, you sit down, like you get comfortable in your seat a little bit. And as you get comfortable in your seat, like 90 seconds in, you start saying, oh, this ain't what I thought it was. Oh, gotta go. Do not stay on a frequency. Do not stay in a classroom that is not leading you towards the future that you want. That is how you should be looking at frequency and vibration. I hope that this makes sense to you. You can apply this to the conversations that you have, the people that you date, the clients that you take, the restaurants that you go to, the friendships that you have or don't have. You can be friends with somebody and decide the energy is off. Another way we can say that is this season for this friendship is over. And let me explain it this way, because I know sometimes people are very sensitive to relationships and friendships. Here it is. Let's go back to school. Have you ever been sitting in a classroom and at the start of the semester, everybody in there was pretty much on the same level? Like all of y'all needed the teacher to teach y'all. You did not know what was going on. How about halfway through the semester, you start realizing who's grasping and who's picking up quicker than the other students. So now the teacher is calling on people to say, hey, Hyacinth, why don't you help? Hey, Tehran, why don't you help? Hey, do you know so now you know if you need some help, who you can go to, who's a study partner, because that person, although they may have started at the same level as you on day one of class 101, now after a few weeks, a few months, they have risen to a level above you. They know more than you. They have grasped the concepts a little better than you have. So now they're on a different level. Now at the end of the semester, and the teacher is saying, okay, we're doing course selection sheets, and the teacher can recommend the next level of the classroom. The teacher has options and says, hey, I can either recommend you for a regular class, or I can recommend you for an advanced or an honors class. Because of the way you performed in this classroom, I am going to recommend that you take AP. Because of the way that you performed in this classroom, I'm going to recommend that you take honors. Now, mind you, you and your girl, y'all started this class together. She didn't perform a certain way. Doesn't make her good or bad, doesn't make you better, doesn't make it right or wrong. She performed in the way that was in alignment with her life's plan, the plan for her life. Now, because the teacher recommended AP for you and regular for her, y'all not in the same classroom no more. How is that going to work out? Are you still going to be at lunchtime going over to her, trying to study with her, trying to talk to her? She's in a whole different classroom. So while you're trying to talk to her and relate to her, she cannot relate to the things that you're speaking to, because now you're surrounded with people in the AP classroom and they think differently, they process differently, they do things differently. Apply this to your real life. This is why friendships have seasons. This is why relationships have seasons. This is why it's important when you're picking a partner or picking somebody to lay down with and do all these things with. If you want something long-term, you got to look and say, is this person able to grow with me? Am I able to grow with this person? And if not, understand that everything has its season. We talked about season when we talked about the first YouTube video that I did, Are You Ready for a Relationship? I talked to you about seasons. Everything has a season. Do not allow your own internal guilt. We talked about that on the last video. Guilt is very low on the map of consciousness. If you feel guilty about moving on, you are not in alignment with the next level of your best self. If you feel guilty about moving on, you're going to have a problem attracting the things that are required for you to go to the next level, because you have this guilt that is weighing you down, because it is a low level emotion. You see how the metaphysical part of this is easily related to the physical 3D reality life that you live? If you break it down, you'll start to see like, dang, I can't really afford to be guilty because that's oppressing me. And I know I'm a star. Like I tell my daughter all the time, you the Beyonce of the group. I'm the Beyonce of the group. You know, imagine if Beyonce was like Destiny's Child. I love y'all, but I just gotta stay. I just gotta stay. I'm gonna be here forever, and we're gonna be Destiny's Child till the end. 2023. Could you imagine? We would not have experienced Beyonce and all of the greatness that she is right now. So apply that to yourself. What do you tell yourself? Do you need to tell yourself you're the Beyonce of the group? It's okay. You can say it. And the people who are around you that want the best for you, they will get it. When I first started telling my daughter that, she was like, oh, mom. Now she's like, girl, you're right. You are right. My daughter's 22, by the way. She'll be like, you are right. You are absolutely right. So think about this as you think about frequency, as you think about the decisions that you make. Energy, frequency, and vibration, they may sound like foreign concepts, but I want you to get to the point in your life that you're like, oh, I'm not vibrating there today. I'm not on that frequency. Nope, I'm not. I'm over here. And when you consistently choose the frequency that feels good to you, not to anybody else, when you consistently choose the frequency that feels good to you, you will be in alignment and you will easily attract your desires. What does that mean? When you sit your butt in the classroom, you may be there for 2 days, 2 hours, 20 years. At any given moment, when it does not feel good anymore, when it is time for your course selection sheet to take you to AP, or to take you to pre-med or dual enrollment, get your happy self up and say, you know what? I know I've been here, but I gotta go now. It's okay, I gotta go, because there is another classroom, AKA there is another frequency available for me. And guess what happens when you walk into another classroom? You thought you knew everything that you knew because you was in the other classroom, but when you walk into a new classroom with a new teacher, you be like, I didn't know y'all was even doing all this in here. I didn't know this was possible. You mean to tell me just a few doors down, this what y'all be doing in here? Let me say it to you this way. When you timeline jump, that's a term that you may have heard. When you timeline jump, when you transurf, when you choose your reality, you get to say, oh, I'm on this frequency? Oh, this is how it happens over here? I mean, it's all lovely over here. I'm treated this way over here. My bank account looks like this in this frequency. I eat this kind of food on this frequency. I drive this kind of car on this frequency. I live in this type of house. I give back to these organizations. I go to these types of events. I have these types of business partners. Yeah, girl, yeah, you just need to get up out of that old frequency. You couldn't see that in that classroom because the walls and the doors were separating you. So I hope that this makes sense. Drop a note in the comments. Let me know if you liked it or if you loved it. Those are your only 2 options. You liked it or you loved it. And also let me know if you have any questions. I would love to answer your questions in a follow-up video. Until next time, peace.